Well, good afternoon. It's too nice to be inside, so we're outside. And if you hear some squawking, it's the ducks, and the ducks just come and go wherever they really want. Um, and then we enjoy them, and then we go quack, 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 and they come back. I want to talk about something that sometimes we miss, and that's we miss the forest for the trees. And I know that's something that I guess I've heard my whole life is, you're in the middle of the forest and you see the trees, but you don't see the forest, or you see the trees and you miss the forest. And the point of this is sometimes we get involved in things and we miss the point of it. I just want to read a little bit out of John 5 and talk a bit about it. Soon another feast came around, and Jesus was back in Jerusalem. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there was a pool in Hebrew called Bethsaida with 5 alcoves. Hundreds of sick people, blind, crippled, paralyzed, were all in these alcoves. One man had been an invalid there for 38 years. When Jesus saw him stretched out by the pool and knew how long he'd been there, he said, "Do you want to get well?" The sick man said, "Sir, when the water is stirred, I don't have anybody to put me in the pool, and by the time I get there, someone is already in." Jesus said, "Get up, take your bedroll, and start walking." The man was healed on the spot. He picked up his bedroll and walked off. Day happened to be the Sabbath. The Jews stopped the healed man and said, "It's the Sabbath. You can't carry your bedroll around. It's against the rules." But he told them, "The man who made me well told me to. He said, 'Take your bedroll and start walking.'" They asked, "Who gave you orders to take it up and start walking?" The healed man didn't know, for Jesus had slipped into the crowd. Okay, now this is interesting because they didn't see the forest for the trees. There's many times in life where I've caught myself saying, "But you can't." And the "but you can'ts" in life stop us from doing the amazing things that God has for us to do. And we often miss seeing in other people's lives and acknowledging in our own lives those little things that we don't see because we're seeing the tree, not the forest, or we're seeing the forest, not the trees. When you think about this, these leaders at the temple, they knew who this man was. They knew he had been sitting there for 38 years, paralyzed, and he couldn't get into the water. They knew that. And yet they said to him, "Why are you carrying your bedroll?" Now, you think about it. Wouldn't they have said, "How come you're walking?" But no, they picked on something nitty to be critical of, and they missed the bigger picture. They missed the miracle. And the man answered kind of the logical, "Well, somebody told me to." And he just said, "I just picked it up and walked." So how often does Jesus tell us to do something and we kind of do it, but we don't stop to acknowledge the amazing part of it? Now, it doesn't say that the man looked at Jesus and said, "You have got to be kidding. I'm healed." I would have been dancing, leaping, jumping up and down. But the man just picked up his bedroll and walked. It didn't seem, it to me, I would have been so shocked I could walk. I'd have dropped my bedroll. I'd have said, "Forget this. I don't need it anymore." But he seemed to miss the fact that Jesus just healed him in an incredible way. Or maybe it was the shock of it. There are times when I get a phone call and somebody tells me an answer to something I've been praying about, and I am thankful for the answer, but I go about life as if it just is everyday life, instead of stopping to praise God, to thank God, to honor God for this incredible miracle that happened. And it seems as if this man just picked up his bedroll and walked, just like, "Oh, this is what you do after you're healed." So he kind of missed seeing the bigger picture, that Jesus changed his whole future. And the Jewish leaders failed to look at this man who'd been sitting there for all these years and say, "You're walking." So I think there's a couple things. Sometimes we miss the miracle for the trees. We look at somebody's life and we are more critical of what they're not doing or what they're doing, and not looking at why they're not doing it or are doing it. So if someone, we seem to have our list of things that are acceptable and not acceptable. And when someone is living and making little changes in their lives, we don't compliment them on that change. We criticize them on something else that's not right. The compliment to this man who'd been healed is, you have been healed. This is incredible. Instead, oh, by the way, you're carrying your bedroll. That's against the rules. They missed the miracle and missed Jesus in the midst. And I'm assuming this man would have been in shock. But still, I would have wanted to know more about the person who said, pick up your bedroll and walk. And I actually could. So when you think about this miracle, there's all sorts of unanswered questions on all sides. But the way I can apply it to my life is, what am I looking at that I see something different than seeing Jesus? They saw the man carrying his bedroll. They didn't see that he'd been healed, or they didn't want to acknowledge it. And sometimes I look at things that are happening and I'm amazed that they're happening, but I don't see Jesus in them. I miss the forest for the trees. So it's a struggle every day sometimes to see the good and the beauty in things, because we're living in a world where everything is going wrong. So when I see something that's unique and different, I need to stop. And it's not that I don't need to pick up my bedroll and walk, but I need to say, why is God telling me to do something amazing? And am I stopping to thank him instead of just simply, he obeyed. He picked up his bedroll and walked, but he didn't even find out who Jesus was. How can we not do that? How can we look at the miracles around us, and before we walk on with the miracle in our hands, stop to thank God, thank Christ, thank the circumstances that Christ has brought about, instead of getting caught up in the moment and not stopping? It's kind of like the 10 that were healed and one turned around to come back. Sometimes we get caught up in the beauty of the moment, in the essence of what's happening. And that's what Jesus wants us to see, is what incredible things have happened in our lives. But he doesn't, I think, just want us to pick up our bedroll and walk. He wants us to think about why and how I have the ability to stand up, pick up my bedroll and walk. And maybe to apply it to other people. When I see other people having big changes in life, I need to step back and thank God for the big changes and not be critical of the little things that they maybe haven't got right yet. It's kind of like when a toddler starts walking. And we had kids walked at all the spectrums. We had one that walked early, one that walked late, and one that the third one is like, please walk because I'm tired of carrying you around. But they all kind of walked in their different way, and we didn't criticize them as they staggered across the floor. No, we applauded them. The fact that they were learning to walk, that's a blessing. So when you see someone who's making steps to do what Jesus wants, help them be amazed at what God's done in their lives. Not just pick up the bedroll and walk and just ignore the fact that they were healed and can pick up their bedroll. Just make sure that every step along the way that God does little things in our lives, we stop and validate that. And we recognize the fact that Jesus is giving us the ability to pick up our bedrolls. Don't just pick up the bedroll and start walking. And when people stop to ask us what we're doing, they should be just as surprised and just as honored that we are walking, and not be critical that we're carrying our bedroll. So a little challenge for the day. I'm going to go mow lawn now. It's gorgeous out. It's beautiful. Nice, beautiful day in Minnesota. Look to see Jesus working in people. Don't be critical, but make sure that they understand the beautiful parts of life that help them carry that bedroll. Have a great one. Bye.